Every week, the internet insists there is a new platform, a new algorithm hack, or a new piece of software you have to use. There is an endless supply of voices telling you that if you don't jump on the latest trend, your business will fail. But relying on random viral hits or trying to force a complete stranger to immediately buy a high-ticket item rarely works. Pushing for a massive transaction up front ignores the biological reality of how humans actually build trust. It is the business equivalent of proposing marriage on a first date. The most effective online strategies have very little to do with technology. Good digital marketing is just traditional relationship building applied to an internet environment. To engineer that relationship from scratch, we use an 8-step pipeline called the customer value journey. When you intentionally move prospects through these specific sequential stages, you stop relying on chaotic hacks. You replace crossed fingers with a system that creates predictable, repeatable business growth. The journey starts with awareness. Before anyone can give you their money, they have to realize you exist. Take a look at this Facebook advertisement. If a homeowner is completely unaware of the Canary home security brand, this ad puts the product right in their feed, targeting a very specific demographic need to protect their house. Once they know who you are, they move to engagement. You can't ask for the sale yet. First, you have to provide a piece of content that entertains or informs them, giving them a reason to stick around and listen to what you have to say. Here, the clothing retailer ModCloth engages their audience with an interactive quiz about wedding guest styles. It is useful, it is fun, and it builds early rapport without forcing a transaction. But people have short attention spans. If you let that engaged prospect click away without getting their contact information, odds are you will never see them again. That brings us to the subscribe stage. You need an ethical bribe. You offer something highly valuable for free, like this Salesforce ebook, in direct exchange for their email address or phone number. Mastering these first 3 steps takes someone who had no idea who you were and turns them into a captive audience member. You now have permission to talk to them, entirely outside of a social media algorithm. Now that you have their attention, they are ready for the convert stage. This is where you ask for a small commitment of either time or money. This chart shows the relationship between customer acquisition costs and the initial purchase price. Notice that at the point of that first sale, the business is actually losing money. The most successful companies in the world are completely comfortable operating in the red right here. They do this by using an entry point offer, a low-friction transaction like an $8 book or a heavily discounted web domain. The goal is to change the psychological relationship from prospect to buyer. As the data expands over time, the long-term value of an acquired customer will completely outweigh that initial loss. But that long-term value only materializes if you nail the excite stage. If someone buys your entry point offer and gets frustrated or bored, the journey stops dead. They must get tangible value out of the experience right away. A reliable way to do this is through automated educational sequences. When you sign up for Evernote, they immediately send you these specific tips. They are actively training the user to be successful with the app from day one. Going out of pocket to acquire a customer makes perfect financial sense, as long as your onboarding process guarantees that they will actually use and enjoy what they bought. All of that trust building sets up the ascend stage. This is the moment where the business finally recovers those early marketing costs and begins to turn a profit. We map this out using an ascension ladder. Once a customer buys your core product, you systematically present them with relevant upsells and cross-sells to increase the value of their order. For example, when you buy a flight on Southwest Airlines, you are immediately offered a $15 early bird check-in. It is a frictionless addition that improves the customer's travel experience while directly boosting the airline's margins. You can afford to spend heavy on advertising and lose money on entry-level offers because a highly optimized ascension ladder will consistently extract long-term revenue on the back end. Squeezing maximum profit out of a single buyer is good, but the ultimate goal of this pipeline is to create a self-sustaining machine. That brings us to the advocate stage. Here, you intentionally prompt your happiest customers to leave a public review, like this automated email campaign from Designer Shoe Warehouse. Finally, we reach the promote stage. While advocates simply respond when asked, promoters actively go out and seek new audiences to sell your product to. You can build a promoter base by engineering a high-value incentive structure. Dropbox offered its users up to 16 free gigabytes of storage just for inviting their friends, turning their own user base into an unpaid sales army. This diagram illustrates what happens next. The output of the promote stage feeds directly back into the awareness stage. Because these new prospects are hearing about you from a trusted friend, they move through the entire pipeline faster and at a much lower cost. To grow a business online, abandon the chaotic hunt for the next viral tactic. Focus your energy on engineering these 8 sequential steps. When you build the pipeline properly, growth becomes an automatic byproduct of the system.